Hey guys, this is Midget and welcome to another episode of my Derby Career Mode. Here we get straight into the game against Spurs. This game wasn't the most action-packed in my opinion, but the start was a start to remember for the whole series. You'll never, ever see something like this again. So here I was thinking of exploiting Gomez because he's a pretty poor keeper in real life and on the game. I was thinking. So I was going into this game with full confidence. Just because of that one player Gomez. And here you realise I don't skip any from the first minute. Russell goes on a little skill run. He eventually passes it back to Danny Ings. Danny Ings does a little fake shot, chips it over back to Johnny Russell. Johnny Russell controls it and manages to slide it through Aurelio Gomez, I think he's Brazilian, in under 1 minute and 32 seconds, which is absolutely insane. Our first goal in a minute. So that was a really positive start, and here my controller ran out of batteries, to be honest, so that's why that black bar is up. But never mind. You see it again. I don't I do not skip or cut out any of this because you're gonna see what happens, and you probably know what's gonna happen in right now. And this is why I told you this was one of the starts to remember. In the third minute, Ericsson chips it over to, I think that was Soldado, but it gets saved by Legend, and Gylfi Sigurdsson manages to volley it home. So with a pretty amazing quick lead, we put it away. We lose it just within the next 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which is not good, but, I'm not going to, be angry. But again, I do not skip anything. Russell does the exact same thing. Pass it through to Ings. Ings does a little fake shot. Pass it through to Jamie Hood, who chips it over to Russell. Russell scuffs the shot a bit, but he does eventually put it away. And, it's 2-1 in the first 6 minutes of the game. This was absolutely unbelievable. Who would have thought of something like this? Tottenham just got back into the game with like 4 minutes on the clock, and they're already down with 5 minutes on the clock. So this is a really insane start. But the next goal here came in the 12th minute. When Lamela slid it through to Soldado, and Soldado manages to poke it home, and does his trademark celebration. I think it's no, it's not his trademark celebration, but it's it's a pretty good celebration nevertheless. And I was pretty frustrated, but look at that, like 4 goals in the opening 10 minutes of the game. It was just absolutely insane, but it was so unrealistic, but that's how half-time had, and this is goal-only episode, guys, so basically, mostly goal-only. So in the 80th minute, Russell has a shot, but it didn't go in, and the only reason that was there, just to separate something from the last minute, and this game did end Spurs 2, Derby 2, so I wasn't too angry at that result because, in fact, we were absolutely dominated in that game, so I was pretty happy with the score. But Luke Shaw wanted wages. Bennett said he wants to get transferred, and here I decided to do a bit of the Polish squad selection. Normally I just do it, but I was like wondering who I could instead of who I could just put in, because I want to get the strongest team possible, and, I decided to up Luke Shaw's wages, and he wanted a 20 grand increase, and I was like, what the hell, Luke? Yes, he's our best player, but 20 grand in one go, that was a bit of a big ask, and, luckily I have that now, since I'm a Premier League club. But we go into the Aston Villa game, and, we've not got a really good we've not got a very good win ratio against Aston Villa. They're one of the bogey teams we've got, that don't look good on paper. Well, not amazing on paper, but we just struggle against them like Stokes in real life, They're not the best of teams, but seriously, you wouldn't want to come up against them because they're such a tough team to beat, Like here, I was trying to exploit Siler again, thingy, but in the first minute, sorry, Bryson, this wasn't an error. This was EA stupid registering. I tried to do a fake shot, but it didn't register it, and he hit it out, Bryson, and you know what's going to happen, don't you? Benteke punishes me for an absolute, utter horrid registration error from EA, and I was so angry at this, because I tried literally doing a fake shot, and I pressed square, because you can't press circle, because in your own half, because then it boots it. So I pressed square and X, and, it's supposed to do a thingy, but it didn't, and I go 1-0 down, which is absolutely just horrible. And then Russell tries to get us back in the game and doesn't manage to. And again, that was just to, skip a bit. And look at that. That was such an undeserved win because they only had one shot on target. However, we had around 5 or 10. And I still ended up losing the game, so I was pretty angry at that. But then I check who's going out on loan, and most of the players that don't even play for us go out on loan, which is so really funny. But here we go into the next big team, title contended team, I would say, in the episode. So being Liverpool, and I wasn't feeling my chances with Liverpool. I always struggle against Thiago Aspas because he's such a beast on the game. But then I looked at Jordan eBay, or I call him eBay, not because of the site. I heard it once and it sort of stuck. But in the 32nd minute, Daniel Agger gets pushed off the ball out by our 17-year-old scout future star, Dutch 5-star skiller Willem van der Werf, and he manages to slot it home, and Martin Kelly was absolutely frustrated, and I was like, what the hell kind of haircut was that, Kelly? Jesus. But look at this, he gets pushed off the ball, he can't get caught up to, he finesses it pan Mignolet, and I was like, yes! But in the 59th minute, a ball gets chipped through to Storage, he manages to slide it past Legends, and Nathaniel Klein's not fast enough to get there, and I was like, for God's sake! Oh, that was so angry, I was so angry for the fact that, I was so close to keeping it out. But here Sturridge hit the post after rounding Legends, then almost Suso passed it into the net, but Luke Shaw got there. And here was, from hero to zero moment, Martin Kelly has the weakest header ever, and Luke Shaw doesn't do anything. We could have easily got a point from this game, or even a win, but just look at this. That was a really weak header, and what was Luke Shaw doing at that post? Oh, if it was anyone else, it would have got cleared, so I was pretty frustrated about that game. But, I did get dominated, to be honest, so, I guess I should have really lost the game, But then here I was on a two-loss streak, and I was, like, a bit angry. Luke Shaw accepts our wages, and here we simulate the games, the qualifiers, and we, I think, lose to Hungary, and we draw to Czech Republic, which isn't good. It's unlikely that we're going to go into the, what's it called, the World Cup or something. But here we go into the game against Newcastle, and you know what Newcastle are? They're one of these sides that we always have goals against. You can expect a hell lot of goals against Newcastle, and I decided to put an Oviedo in this game because we had someone injured. I can't remember who it was. But I decided to put an Oviedo in a centre-back position, But here in the 7th minute, Chet Tiote scores a similar goal like he did against City. It bounced out from a corner, and he just smacked it from outside the box, and it got Newcastle the lead within the first 10 minutes. But then Hendrick got an absolutely terrible shot blocked, and it went to the guy notorious for headers from the corner, Eric Dier, and he's not going to fail a header like that. He's just absolutely insane from headers, and he does his trademark celebration on the game. And that was such an easy goal for him, and I think Kroos should have done better. But in the 42nd minute, goal of the season, in my opinion, Van der Werf does a little Ronaldo chop, then scoops it and shoots from around 25 yards, only to go in the top 5 corner. Our 5-star skilling, Dutch 17-year-old, he was absolutely insane. I was screaming, and I'm going to show you guys the stats now in a second. Well, what's it called again? Settings that I wasn't using in any sliders. I was absolutely shocked as you guys are now. That is definitely going to be the goal of the season. Just looked, I can't believe I scored. I can't believe I even went for it. But then in the 69th minute, Danny Ings shot from an improbable angle and managed to find the back of the net. I was laughing my head off because how the hell did that find the back of the net? I don't know. But I guess, Krull was having an absolute mare of a game. Because how did he... never mind. But in the 72nd minute, Gouffran manages to find a Rodrigo. Rodrigo passes it to Soko, and Legends manages to save it. But it's sort of an eye for an eye moment right now. We scored a header, and we're terrible from, corners, and Yangan Biwa manages to punish us and score Newcastle's second goal of the game, and it looks like they're going to come back. You never know, they might not, but it looks like they're on a way to a comeback here. And again, you can expect a lot of goals from this fixture, and you certainly could here, 5-goal thriller. But in the 90th minute, Newcastle going to equalise, and he chips it over to Ramos, and he equalises. I was so angry. I thought the one player on that pitch that didn't deserve it was Willem van der Werf. He played his heart out, and I just couldn't believe it. But he scored such a crack, he deserved to win it. But that was basically how the game ended. We should have won it, in my opinion. But what happens. And yeah, so guys, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure to give it a like. And yes, this was Midget, and I'm going to see you guys in the next episode, which will be tomorrow. Peace out.